All right, so on the bench, get that off. That's oily because recall I put oil on it so it would come off easy, and it did. It came off like a dream. All right, so now this comes off. The 6 inside screws are fine, but I bet the 6 outside screws are all kind of unique. And yeah, I expected worse. This one shows some nicking. These are hardened, which what makes them dangerous because they have no tensile strength and they're hardened, but they're hard. Well, anyway, and now I should be able to get this faceplate off. Boom, like that. And now get a handsaw, protect the surfaces, and make sure my hands aren't greasy. And handsaw this thing, and then I don't know what, sand the bottom. Okay, handsaw. And try to stay to the outside of the cut so I don't scar the base. Boy, I want this over. See you in a minute. Take this over, do some sanding, and we'll have it. It'll be great. Come on, come on. Wrong bevel. All right, cool. Sanding. All right, so here at B, it sets about 11 inches tall, 11 and a half. It's about 7 inches here and 5.5 inches here at the bead. And it's lovely and hollow. And sets on a little piece of bloodwood for base. So I think now I'm going to bust out the clear shellac and thin some down a little bit and put a coat on for sanding sealer. And then inside and out. And tomorrow we'll do a little sanding. And imagine what a top is going to look like. A flattish, like a pagoda roof sort of thing. A little lip on the inside so it sticks. And then a little finial with maybe a little lump on it part way up. Coming to a point, all out of bloodwood, so some more of the Spaulted Maple, 4 little ribs in it, similar to these, and then up. Sounds easy enough. 4 little pieces of Spaulted Maple will get put together, the center drilled out, and then the piece that's going to be the finial will get turned, and then that turned piece shoved in and glued in. Yeah. I can turn the base. Oh, look at that. I can turn the base, the cap, between centers, and I won't have any work holding problems. That's great. That's great. This is going to be terrific. But I do want to get a coat of shellac on this. Move this along, also to keep it from getting grubby fingerprints on it and that sort of thing. So let's get that done. So get a coat of juice on this. This is clear shellac, been thinned with denatured alcohol a bit, probably. It's like a Man, I don't know. Probably half strength from the way you buy it. When we buy a 3-pound cut, this is at least half of that. Bring out that warm color in the maple. Contrast the black to that. Super, just super. I've been puttering along a little bit. I need to make the cap. I've got an idea of a kind of an OG cap with a spire in the center of it, relatively simple. I think I'm going to use these segments, and I think at the moment I've got some pieces of this left over, and I believe that I'll be able to get enough pieces out of this. Looks like I should be able to get 4 pieces out of each of 2 of these. Two of them. So looks like I want to run through the planer a little bit to get a little bit of the saw kerf off, because it'll create a problem. Not much, but a little. Anyway, so I think I'm going to do something like that with these segments. I've cut up a piece of the leftover Spaulted maple. This is mostly hard maple, not eaten. A few pieces are. Anyway, and I'm going to alternate. I have 2 pieces. I'm going to alternate 1 line, 2 line, sort of thing, around a little variation, or to control the variation. And I'm cutting these into little 22.5 degree angles. And I will ultimately goober this all up with glue and put some sort of a band clamp. I squared off this outside edge. This outside edge I've squared off to the 33 degree angle. And I should be able to put one of the bands around it and tighten it up, pull the thing together. It'll all come to a point. I don't know how that's going to work out. Have to do with that, I'm sure. Ultimately, I'm going to drill the center of this thing out. So I could even decide before I glue this to slap these on the chop saw with a jig and flatten the tops of these things a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I think I'm on a roll here, getting these things cut. I hope that when I get to the last one, that I won't lose any fingers. Something to think about. Anyway, I'm going to go back to chopping these things. Chop saw, chop saw, chop saw. Be great. All right. As the pieces get smaller, I get more and more concerned, but so far it's holding up. So I made a little removable tool that I can line up with a spot on the back of the saw and place these so that they're within, they're pretty damn close to the right size. And I don't have to measure. And I don't have to be, wrong. Next is going to be hard. I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to go through with it or not. If it scares me enough, I may try super gluing a piece of wood to the bottom of it so that it's bigger. Then I have to cut it off. I'm not sure how that works. Okay, that's in the right place. Cool. Way cool. I've got some these little pieces will be next. Swinging down. There we go. So I've got these pieces. This is ultimately going to have a little lip. The bottom will be opened up with a little bit of a lip here to hook on the outside edge of the urn. And then this will get swooped down and up. Swoop down and up. Maybe get a little bit small, so it's hard to be sure. But I think I can come across and up and then sort of level off into an OG shape. Let me give that another, flesh that out a little bit. So it's going to come across, well, probably right around here. Swoop up, get to there, and then level off. That OG shape, kind of a little bit of a pagoda cap, and this right here will have a lip in it like that, where this is cut away, and this will set inside that, and then the finial will get drilled down through this, glued in, and hopefully be already turned. Anyway, that's where I'm headed at the moment. We'll see how this goes. All right, I should be doing this differently, but this is where I am. So, tools, I love the tool. You should get one. If you don't have one, they're just terrific. Had this for a while, had some accidents with it, it's okay. The plastic insert and the bed are not at the same level. They maybe once have been, but they aren't now. There's a little bit of a gullet. And when you're dealing with something this small, that gullet turns into, can you see? It wiggles. It's not good. So there's also a slot in the back, and it's not much. So I have a habit, typically I don't do things this small, but I have a habit of putting a scrap of material that spans the gap in the gullet, so they don't have that wiggle, wiggle, wiggle thing. It's all great. So now I've got this gauge. Unfortunately, I had to shim it out because of this. It's okay. So I'm going to, excuse me for a second. I've got a fingertip gauge right there. Okay, so that's that. That's that. This is all good. There. This is all locked in. I mean, it's good. Good, good, good. This doesn't much matter as long as it spans this. This right here, I'm pushing against it. All that I can push will be pushed. There you go. I'm up against my gauge to get my thickness. And my cut is going to be like right there. So I've got all of this real estate right here that I can put my finger. Maybe even a little bit more than that. I mean, it's that big, right? Look at that. It's like from there to there. So as long as my finger's on the outside of that, I'm good. And there's no reason for this to go anyplace else. But it feels a little scary. There's my finger, and there's the piece. Once again, we made it. All right, let's go see how this fits. All right, little pieces. None of this is very good. So there seems to be some irregularities. But it's not much. And I think some of it's just little fuzziness on the saw cuts that I haven't cleaned off. Yeah, it just got a whole pant load better. That's great. So these are my pieces. They all sort of work. Now I need to get some of this stuff in there. When I turn these things, the woof is how am I going to get all this stuff at the right dimension to all fit together. But here's the drill. When I turn these, I'm going to turn the outside of this round. So I don't really need the corners, which means that I don't really need this. I'm going to leave the corners on these because they help me clamp it consistently. But when I put these pieces in, I don't need these to come all the way out to the outside edge. They can be shy because it's going to get rounded. So this is going to work like a charm. So all I need to do is trace an outline of one of these on this, shy a little bit, and cut 8 of these. I've said I wanted to plane this saw mark out of them so that I can use the tops and the bottoms. Let me go do that. I'll be back. Okay, so here we've got these. Catching all this? So this right here is going to be my piece. And I don't need it to be all the way to the outside edge, but if I made this little angle in it, I'll be able to get more out of it. That's good. So that's what I need. A little bit like that, a little bit shy of that. A little bit. 8 times. Let me cut 8 of those. And I'll be right back. All right, I've had a couple of moments here and there. One of them or 2 of them just blew up in my hand. I'm glad that didn't happen when my hand was right next to the blade. Anyway, I've got 8 little pieces of bloodwood all set between my little pieces of Spaulted Maple. The angles all look great. It lies flat. It's great. I'm going to have obviously some issues getting these things all spaced right. But I think I'm gonna make a little plug, a little round plug, and put that in the center to hold everything at the right dimension, so to speak. All the surfaces are going to get turned and surfaced, so it's not an issue. I am thinking now about how I'm going to hold this, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that now. I think the work holding thing I'll deal with white glue later rather than the epoxy now. The trick now is just get this done. I have yet to figure out what I'm going to do at the top. I keep thinking I'm going to flatten all of these things. I may do that. I think I'll give it a test with a band and see what that does. If that causes it to pitch up, then I'll definitely have to flatten all of these things so that I can put something on the top and push down to resist the, because I'm grabbing them low. There'll be a tendency for it to lift, I believe. Anyway, and then there'll be some wax paper, some rubber gloves, mix up some glue, and just lather everything. It'll be great, great fun. And these 2 are wrong. All right. Back to good. All right. Let's go get a band clamp and see how that works. Now here I've got 2 5s. These might take up enough. Let's see what else I have. I may be slick if I can get by with 1 7. Looks like I can. All right, 1 band clamp. That's fun. Band clamp. They're hose clamps. I know. Everybody's got their own words. So I've got a little issue there. This one's jumping in. This one's in. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand. This thing in the center, these sub-knees are really coming in too far. This one, way too far. Okay, so I need to cut some sort of a dowel to go inside. I'll drill it out later. It won't be an issue. But looks like, you know, I never really know. Looks like 3/8. Let me see if I can make a 3/8 inch dowel. Insert it in there. And see what that does. It may help. I don't see how I can make it worse. Easily said. Alright, be right back. 3/8 inch dowel. So I've turned a little simple dowel, little taper to it. It plugs right in there. It fills that space and it takes care of all of my spacing issues. These end pieces are just a teeny bit in. That seems good. I've got no problems whatsoever other than it's not perfect, right? The bottom is not perfectly flat. There are a couple of these pieces that seem to want to drift up. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything really about that. When I put the pressure on, it's going to all wander where it wants to go. But I've got, let's do this out. I've got about 3/4 of an inch of flat along this edge. 3/4 of an inch. I only need to lip into the bowl 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. Let's just say 3/8. So that gives me, this lower lip on this OG shape doesn't have to be much more than 1/4 of an inch. So if I've got 3/8 of an inch of bottom that I have to provide for the edge of the thing that fits into the urn, and I want 1/4 of an inch of edge here, that gives me 1/8 of an inch of leveling out on the bottom. That's good. I'm going to worry about the bottom and like I say, the piece of wood that I'm going to put on to grab this thing to turn it. I'm going to worry about that tomorrow with white glue. I'm not going to worry about it now with the epoxy. So next is a little bit of plastic, wax paper, better, and mix some glue, get some gloves, put some red in it, put some filler in it, dry this in, clamp it up. It's going to be fine. Little brush. We got it all. See you in a bit. I'll get ready. All right, here we go. Gloves are going on, which is different than gloves are coming off, I guess. Okay, and I've been using some red tint in this stuff. I've got a couple of squirts of the West System glue mixed up with some cotton flour in it. And now some reddish brown tint, because it's got to be something. That's a lot. All right. So, 3 drops. Whoa! Ridiculous amount. Glue was already mixed. Glue was mixed. I mixed it before I put the flour in. Then I mixed that. And now I've put the red in and then I mix that. Don't fool around with the glue. It's just not worth it. I mixed 2 squirts because this is, you know, measured in squirts. I don't know if that's enough or not. So I'm going to save the stir out just in case. And here we go. This is why I wear the gloves. Now you don't have to put endless amounts on if you do both surfaces. That's what I'm going to do. Like them wetted. I like everything wet with the adhesive. It's my dream, so I'm sticking with it. Don't need every single square inch of this thing covered. I mean, I'm not going to use I'm going to turn this thing. There's going to be less wood, but you got to keep the glue from migrating somehow. So you do all the surfaces. And this is why I'm wearing the gloves, because I'm taking a bath with this stuff. This is going to go on for a while. A lot of pieces. A lot of pieces. Cool. There you go. A little more than half done. 5/8. Look at that. Easy fractions. That's nice. Alright. Oh, wow. I thought I was going to catch that with my shirt. I thought that would be a great loss, but I'd get ribbed when I went home. You do fall in. Alright. Gaining. But it won't take long now. 2 squirts was enough. 1 wouldn't have been. We know that now. Gloves were a good idea. We know that now. It's amazing how smart you can get. Although nothing's ever fallen apart because they had too much glue. Okay, that's it. Done. And in and together. Now this is where you can screw up and get pieces of your wax paper caught up in your joint. Right now, get one of my pieces sort of running in, so I'm going to do that. Wow, lots of action. All right, I'm going to go dip my hands in some sawdust and come right back. All right, for reasons that I don't know, my extra gloves are in a box at home. I know exactly where they are. I don't know why they're not here, but you know, they aren't. So, got to make these work. All right, there's that. I got my wrench right here. Bottom looks reasonably good and flat. All right. The epoxy does not require enormous pressure. Squeezing it out thin just doesn't help. So I'm good. Get everything sort of. A couple of these pieces are a little bit high. Take another look. That one's a little bit high. Yeah, a couple of them. All right, good enough. I'm done. Cleanup time. That'll be fine. I can get what I need out of that. Whew. I sure hope so. All right, thanks for watching. I'll do a little cleaning up, and then we can go home. That's going to be super.